Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of the Little Update Blog, yay! So this time I'm going to be talking to you about the spirits of the red sand. So recently we received an email that was some free tickets to a thing called the Spirits of the Red Sand. And so I convinced Mum to, get us 3 tickets. One for me, Mum and Dad as the 3 sort of managers of the building. I'm the assistant manager. Anyway, we went off to go to the show, and it was all about the Aborigines in Australia and how when the white man showed up, he, gave them cyanide and, shot them with rifles and, all of this oppressive stuff. But it was actually a really good show. When you arrive, they give you free beverages. So I had 3 glasses of wine. And they had this old-timey character dressed up with, the top hat and the cane and all the outfit. And he was calling himself the Governor. And the Governor was also known as Mr. Westerner. Now, Mr. Westerner, he was in character, moving around while people were having their drinks and asking questions to people. Now, my dad was, hanging out with me at one point, and Mr. Westerner comes over and says to him, "How did you get to this great land?" And Dad says, "Oh, on an aeroplane." And Mr. Westerner goes, "I've never heard of that before, sir." And my dad just kind of looks like, But I go, Mr. Westerner, an aeroplane is a foreign device from a faraway land that allows you to travel by flying on the sky." And Mr. Westerner looks at me and goes, "Well, we're certainly progressing then, aren't we?" And I went, "Yeah," and he, went off and talked to some other people. And I thought he was bloody great staying in character like that. Oh, I was so impressed. So, as the evening goes on, they play a bit of a movie to you, sort of about, what happened and when. But then they lead you off. They select a leader from in the audience, and the leader leads the crowds throughout the different parts of a historical village. So we're moving around to the church, where the preacher character provided us with a genuine church sermon from back in the 1800s. And it was incredible. Oh, I was blown away. My 3 glasses of wine probably helped, but Now, the trick was that we were told that there'd be a dinner. So, Mum was hungry from the get-go. She'd had an early lunch in order to, have this really nice fancy dinner. And we get there and there's this big show first. So she became what she calls hangry, which is where she's hungry and angry. So that's fine. That's how she was. But Dad was pretty neutral with the show. He kind of enjoyed it, but I really enjoyed it. And it's the tale of 3 brothers who were the Native American chiefs, or the sons of the Native American chiefs or something. And it's all about how one tried to embrace the white culture and one tried to fight the white culture. And it was really quite a show, And I mean, they had a few minor problems, there were some technical difficulties with the rain and the fireplace and the microphones and the audio equipment, but they actually did really good. And by the end of the show, they lead you from the final stage to the dining area. And while you're being led there, all of the various characters from throughout the play are all sort of lined up along the side, sort of thanking people for coming and watching the show. And I was a little bit drunk. I couldn't help myself. I bloody went and I slipped my phone number to Mr. Westerner. I gave him my phone number. And then we're doing the show, we're doing the dinner, and just before we start the food, they do one final sort of song and dance number and do a bit of a show for you and do a bit of a dance, And during the dance, I could see Mr. Westerner was scanning through the audience really intently, looking around. And I thought, I wonder if he's looking for me. And I'm halfway through my meal, I'm eating my food, and Mr. Westerner comes over and puts his hand on my shoulder and sort of leans in and goes, "Hey, Casey, I'm very flattered, but I'm in a relationship." And I went, "Oh, that's all right, Mr. West, that's okay." And then I got cheeky, I went bloody looking for the preacher character. Anyway, I find myself at sort of the staff area, where I end up talking to a bunch of the characters out of character, and it turns out that most of them are there on a volunteer basis. So I thought that was really interesting. And who should walk over? But sure enough, Mr. Westerner. And, I'm sort of saying to him, no hard feelings, it was worth a try. And he goes, I'm too old for you anyway. I'm 73. Well, he was spry for his age, I can tell you that much. But yeah, oh God, Casey. Really? Mr. Westner? Oh dear, tragic. Tragic. Anyway, it turned out that the preacher was the one that owns the place or runs the show or whatever. So I should have bloody given my number to him. Ah, bugger. Oh well, next time. Anyway, I would highly rate the story, the story of the Red Sands, or the whatever I said at the start. I looked that up at the very start of this. So, Spirits of the Red Sand. That was the name, Spirits of the Red Sand. So I'd strongly recommend, if you're on the Gold Coast and you want a bit of a historical walk around through a real historical village and to hear some really cool little stories and whatnot, that one. I'd give it a 4 out of 5, and it could have been a 5 out of 5 if, I'd gotten a call. Anyway, thanks for watching my tragic life. Yay, bye.